Hey guys, Sid Rail here again from Video Games and Vlogs. I have another update video, lots of information for you guys. Um, Hopefully the audio comes through fine. If not, I'm going to be ticked. Um, you see, I got a long list here. Looking at my computer here, camera's over here. Anyway, they're going to bring back world rates. You're going to see more bosses like Azure Ghost, I believe was his name. And the Dragons of Nightmare, things like that. Think that will kill kil'jaeden because Ruinous and Ruinous blows. We're the Horde, Napalm Destroyer Wolf, so on and so forth. Panderia has got 5 zones. There's going to have a central hub along with an auction house and bank in those areas. They'll all be in one continent. It's not going to be separated. No flying till max level. They have the Valley of Four Winds, Townlong Steppies, Kundalai Summit, Jade Forest, and Vale of Eternal Blossoms. The 4, except for Vale, I believe, are larger than Twilight Highlands, and you're going to have to be running around on your ground mount, so that kind of gives you the idea of scale there. It's basically been shrouded in mist since the Sundering. And there's a naval battle between the Alliance and Horde. People get blown up, blah blah blah, and they wash up on the shores of Jade, the Jade Mist Forest or Jade Forest or whatever. It's going to be very Alliance versus Horde. There's only going to be the one starting zone. You're all basically going to be there and kind of meet in the middle. The new starting island for the Panderans are going to be the Wandering Isle. It's a giant fucking turtle. You're on the back of a fucking turtle. And it's going to be animated. You're going to be able to walk up to the edge, see everything. It's supposed to be pretty cool. Panderans are a neutral race again, starting at level 1. And they level up to level 10. And they pick a faction. Breweries are going to be everywhere in all of the zones. Now some of the new races that they have the Jinyu, which are fish-like wise men. They're tall, humanoid kind of looking. The Hozu, which are monkey-like, mischievous, and they're always pulling pranks and stuff. Vermings, everybody loves these. They're kind of like the new kobolds. They're very rabbit-like, and they look pretty fucking cool. He was holding up this stick that had a big knife and fork on it and stuff. It was pretty cool. They're going to be kind of like the new Murlocs. They're pretty awesome. They're kind of like tunneling under farmlands and stuff, and you have to stomp them and stuff. Comical type of race. The mantid, insect-like race, have been there for millennia. They were separated by a wall between the monks, and they're basically kind of coming through, and you have to stomp them out. They're going to be normal. They're not a hive mind. They're sentient. They'll have clothing and buildings and so on and so forth. Mogu, first race. They were overthrown by the Panderans, and Mogu won it back. They're kind of tall pit bull or bulldog orc-like looking race. Not necessarily dog-like, more orc-like. It's really weird. And then the Shaw, which is like all the negative energy forming into a being. Shadow form energy looking thing. Anything that bad happens, a fight or anything like that, turns into this energy, which is then released like this. Jade Forest is the first zone. It's the last and Horde land here. There's only the one starting zone. It's a lush rainforest with giant stone spires with Panderan buildings on top, and nothing like anything they've done before. You meet the Hozu and Jinyu. Each Horde lines try to recruit one of those, and they try to put those two races to fight against each other. And Shaw is released because of, not as a being, but the race or energy is released, turning these race of weird, crazy beings against each other. And you have to kind of stop that negative energy being thingness of stuff. The Temple of Jade Serpent is the first dungeon where you have to go and cleanse it of the Shaw, basically. Panderans. Females aren't good. They just are males with bows on their head. They can be, this is important, Hunter, mage, monk, priest, rogue, shaman, and warrior. That's it. They can, their racials that they have, again, not finalized, but increase food stats. So if you get 90 intellect, you get 180 intellect, something like that. Cooking increased by 15 inner peace, so your resting experience lasts twice as long. So instead of getting, 1,000 double experience, you'd get 2,000 double experience. Bouncy is what they call this. 50% less fall damage. I love it. I'm gonna love being a Panderan, especially so I can be the Horde and be Panderan. Then they have Quaking Palm, their active ability. A 3-second sleep on enemy target. Ooh, PvP. That could be interesting. The Monk, again, another important section here. They have the Brewmaster, tanking spec, Mistweaver, healer spec, and obviously Windwalker, the melee DPS. The Mistweaver or healer spec they're looking at it possibly being a melee type healer, maybe a damage dealing type healer, not doing a lot of damage, but that's how it's working. They're working on different things like that. It's not a hero class. What that means, you start at level 1. It's very martial arts based. The monk only animations, everything very monk like. It's just pretty cool. As far as the races that can be monks, every single race except the goblin and worgen. I'm really the goblin one, but they get gnomes. Yeah, silly. Basically, it's a lot of hand and feet combat with the monks. Have weapons for finishers. And speaking of weapons, they have stabs, fist weapons, one-handed axes, maces, and swords, and the healers reuse offhands. They'll be wearing leather armor, so agility and intellect, depending on healer or tank or DPS. The resource that they'll use, chi used for jab and roll. Roll is one of their abilities where you roll in or out. I'm not quite sure, but chi is used for those, and jab, which is one of your main abilities, generates light and dark force. Looks like there's 4 orbs on each side. This is light, this is dark, and your abilities, your finishers, use light. So you can have this one finisher that uses this, and that combos with another one that uses 3. And then you have to build that back up, and then you have your dark orbs that you can use for other abilities, so on and so forth. There is no auto attack, so it's going to be very active. As soon as you hit an ability, you use a spell, and it does it's going to be very direct control. And I think with that type of animation fluidity, it's going to be really cool. And they showed us some videos of the animation stuff. It's pretty fucking amazing so far. Now, Talents 2.0, as they're calling them, completely changing them. Even more so than you think now. You have your class abilities, spec abilities, and then talents. Class, all your base things that you'll be getting that all specs can use, so on and so forth. Your spec abilities, so if you're a Holy Paladin, you'd have all these sets of abilities that you get as you level up, including when you choose that at level 10, choose to be, say, Holy at level 10, and then Talents. Talents is a separate tree that every 15 levels you get to choose between 3 things, and you can only choose one of those 3 things. So, say you have Repentance and Rebuke. That's just an example. You'd have to choose between one of those 2 at, say, level 15 or 30 or something. And you can't go back and get it again, say, at level 30. You can't go back and choose the other one. You only get this, and it goes 15, 30, so on and so forth. There's no mandatory talents. It's not going to be... They want to make it as little cookie-cutter as possible, basically blowing that all away, since there's basically only going to be so many talents there, and all the rest of your stuff's basically base, you're going to have a lot of options, and you can almost change them on the fly, not necessarily in combat, but oh, hey, let me go ahead and change this right now, like you're changing this. So that'll help you with certain fights and such. Then they talked about PvE scenarios. They're like mini dungeons varying in number of players. So you could have like 3 things, and it's you go in and you try to complete these objectives, and they're staged like kill 15 kobolds, rescue these people, kill this big kobold, and then you're done. Nobles. That means no tank, healer, or DPS. It doesn't matter what you are. You can complete it. That means very low queue times. Should be great. Then they talked about challenge mode. So basically it's a time-based mode for dungeons and raids and things like that. You can earn a bronze, silver, or gold. There's bragging rights and leaderboards. It's like a competitive PvE. Basically, doing these grants you access to potentially get a special tier of items that are no stats just for the transmogrifier. They have no stats, they're just there to look cool. And if you say get all gold, you kind of show off that way. You also get valor points and such to buy your other gear. The important thing about all this is it's going to be normalized gear level. So say it's a 359 level tier dungeon that you're going through, and you're all geared in 378 and blah 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 item level, it'll bring your stats down to 359. Now I don't think it'll bring your stats up, however. I don't know. They didn't really specify that. Scenarios. Scenarios are queued for. No requirements. They're staged. I already talked about that. Pet combat system. This is your companion pets in a combat system. To put the simple, they kind of built fucking Pokemon into the game. Everyone's fucking thinking Wowkimon. I'm gonna start calling it Wowkimon. Collect and level battle with companions. All players can do this. There's no level requirement, so you can be level 1 and so on and so forth and get these. Almost every pet is going to be usable. I'm sure like the Argent Gremlin, stuff like that won't be usable, but pretty much everything else I'm sure will. Tons of pets, and they're going to do tons of new ones for it. You can customize their pet name and stuff. There's going to be wild companion pets, like they're going to be having varying stats and kind of like rare spawns. Like say there's one that only spawns in this zone during the rain, during winter, at night. Or varying spawns like that, and that's how you'd go out and tame this wild companion. It looks like there's also like mechanical fire and stuff. They didn't say anything about it, but they had these little weird icons next to some of the companions on some of the images. I'm guessing it's like Wowkimon. They're tradable, so you can level up a level 20 pet and then trade it someone else and go and buy another one for yourself if you want to. You can sell on the auction house way to make gold. Another thing for those companion people out there. Account-wide pets. Something they're working towards. Fuck yes. This will put me at like 115 pets account-wide, I think is what I have. But I only have 102 on one tune and like 90-something on the other. They're going to have the UI so you can see the location. So you can scroll through the pets, go click here. Oh, that's where it is. That's where I got to go. I'm going to go tame this one. You can do teams, so you can put 2 or 3 pets together. There's 3 abilities that I guess you could choose from and use, including possibly putting items together and using those items. You get master abilities, and you fight certain masters to, like around the world, you travel around. There's this goblin master, and he teaches you some rocket punch ability or something like that. It's stuff like that. It's all put together. Again, very Wowkimon. That's what I'm going to say. Not a bad idea putting a metagame inside the game, but they're really stretching things here now, Blizzard. Dungeons. There's 9 to start with, 6 in Panderia, and they're going to be doing some heroic updates as normal. They announced Sholomance and Scarlet Monastery, which are going to make just 2 wings of 1 and 2. That's how they're going to do it. They also have Chen's Brewery, Shadowfang Monastery, Temple of Jade Serpent, which is going to be kind of an inside-outside dungeon. Rage, they're going to have 3 to start. Moku and Manted races are kind of going to be who you're fighting against. Raid Finder is going to be used at the beginning of the first tier level, and world bosses are returning. For their questing, they want a lot more max level stuff, multiple hubs, kind of like putting Firelands here and there all over at max level, and you get a lot of better incentives like battle points from quests, and stuff like possibly getting a buff from a daily that if you then go do a dungeon, you can get special loot only if you have that buff. So if like 3 of you have it, you 3 only roll on the special loot that may drop. No flying till max level, as I said. They're going to have more faction improvements, things like that. I'm not sure what that was about. They're going to be a lot more fun, less grindy. And then they went on to PvP. New battlegrounds that they're considering types of like payload battlegrounds, murder ball type battlegrounds, and Dota type battlegrounds, which all 3 of those I think would be amazing. It would be hard and weird, but hey, it gives you something new to do. They're working on account level achievements. Yes, thank you. There's a few more things, but I think I'm going to save this last little bit for when I do the talents and class updates, which I'll do in my next video. I shall see you guys then. Make sure to share this with your friends if they play WoW or they like BlizzCon. I'm going to be trying to do a lot of the stuff mostly about World of Warcraft, but if I get other stuff from Diablo and StarCraft, I will update about those too. Subscribe, like, favorite, share. Love you guys. Comment on the video. Have fun. Bye!